I want to show you a whole heap of different project types, and I also want to start with race, because that was something that sat with me when I was growing up. I'm going to show you a couple of films that were sent to us probably quite recently, actually, in the last couple of years. One was done by a very young student. I think Sinead is probably only 17 or 18. And then also Dan and Lewis's project, both film projects, but I'm just going to show you a little snippet of them because we have limited time.
Stay strong, step onto the turf and you'll get turfed. No witnesses to see, now you find it hard to breathe. Now you're gone, your family's in pain. Who is left to blame? You left them playing your own game. My life's never been easy. It's never been a walk in the park. Guns, knife, drugs, it's all I know. It's all I thought I knew. From a young age, I was looked at different. People looked at me and treated me like I was bad, even when I was doing nothing wrong. The feds used to harass me for the way I looked. I was just trying to fit in. But this is not the life I want for my son.
So, as I said, Sinead did that project. She was studying in North London and she wanted to talk about gang violence and crime and stuff. And it was just a really, I think for someone so young to create a project like this was, for us, was really, really powerful, using the media of film. And this is another film project. I'm just going to run it, so it should explain itself, really.
The first week I arrived here, I made friends with a black second-year student who told me that I shouldn't expose myself to people in Cornwall, and I shouldn't give them or open a door for them to treat me a different way because of my color skin. The 0.2% statistic for me, I think it's relevant because it really showcases how people are moving within the UK, and it definitely gives us a conversation to have.
So Lewis and Dan worked with ethnically diverse people in Cornwall to create this film. It's quite a long film. It's on our site. A lot of these things are on our site if you choose to find them. But again, just illustrating the power of creative thinking in terms of creative writing and filmmaking to get a message out. I hope that's inspired you if you're thinking about your community and injustices that aren't working for you. Disability. We've had some amazing projects around people sort of serving people with disabilities in our community. I've tried to choose really diverse ones so that it inspires lots of people from lots of different disciplines. But this one was really a piece of tech, a digital piece of service design. And it was designed to give citizens a voice within a city. And so where things weren't working in that city around access for just able-bodied and people with disabilities, they could kind of report it. And it was a really, really clever idea. It was kind of live app, beautifully kind of thought through, really nicely designed piece of tech, really. And yet you've got tech versus illustration, which is so completely opposite ends of the design spectrum. But this was a beautifully illustrated story by Megan, and the lead character was disabled. And you think, yeah, you know, why shouldn't they be? And Megan, we actually put in touch with Nice and Serious, which is an agency over here that does animation and stuff like that, and they were really impressed with her project and her work. So again, we can even use something that you think, well, how as an illustrator can I make a difference? But it's a really lovely project that illustrates what's possible. This was a beautiful piece of branding design, motion graphics. It was an exhibition, so it was interiors that I think Wang, I can't see actually his name on my screen, but I think his name was Wang. It came out of the US. And it was just beautifully, beautifully designed. I'm going to run the graphic.
How do we tell time? How do we find things? How do we think about color? How do our dreams look? How do we recognize others? What is beauty to us?
Sorry, I should have explained before I started that was for, people who have impaired sight or are blind. Really, really lovely piece of work. So I'm going to move on to the idea around equality for belief systems. There's a lot of injustice around that, and I showed this project before actually, and it was created by a student who is also in Cornwall, but it's an amazing story. And she ended up working with a Muslim community. She was a typographer, and she created these beautiful books for education systems so that young people, very small young people in schools, would understand about different belief systems and not have crazy ideas around the scripts and different languages that different belief systems use. It was just a lovely, lovely piece of design. And again, I'm not going to show this film. It's on our site. I think it was sent to us quite a few years ago, but Damiano actually ended up working for us and doing some film work a number of years ago. But it's just the most beautiful piece of filmmaking. And what he did was he kind of looked at different belief systems and compared them, and different places of worship, the ways and the rituals that different people from different belief systems worship, and how similar it was. It's just really poignant and a lovely, lovely piece of work. So check that out if that's something you're interested in.